of my hand. I belong to you and you belong to me. And I don't know about you, but when I think about the I will that he's spoken over my life, many of us have I wills that have been spoken over our lives. It could have been in our job. Sometimes our name is being slandered and God spoke to you when he says, I will protect the honor of your name. Or it could be you dealing with your children and they're going forth and they're growing up and they're moving out in the things of the world and you're a little anxious or worried about it, and God says, I will cover them. Or it could be your health and the health is being challenged, but God says, I will keep you in health. God speaks I wills all in our lives, and we have to realize that when he speaks that I will, he's committed to it. He's committed to it. So this is a promise that can't be undone. It can't be reversed and it can't be stopped. Why can it not be stopped? Because Psalms 103 says that the angels excel in strength and they hearken at the voice of his word. And when God speaks a word over your life, Michael and all of his boys shift into action to guard over the word that's been spoken over your life. Don't you understand that what God has spoken over you must come to pass? Because when God speaks, he is a creative being. And when he speaks, everything that he says must come to pass. And not only did he create what he said, but the angels come and they guard. The angels come and they shift. They move through the realms of the heavenlies to make sure that what God said will be. You got angels guarding the word of the Lord over your life. You ought to give God praise. Jeremiah 1:12 says that God watches over his word to perform it. When God says, I'll never leave you nor forsake you, that's him watching over his word. When he says, no weapon formed against you shall prosper, that's him watching over his word. This is why his word cannot return unto him void. Isaiah 55:11 says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It will not. It will not. Lord, how can you say that? He says, because I have already secured it in the spirit. It will not return unto me void. And when he speaks, he doesn't just give you the word of the Lord and walk away, but he watches over it. He watches over it. Do you understand what I'm saying? Can I use this as an example? This is the word of the Lord over your life. Hold it. Hold it. Yeah, you don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go. You don't want to let it go. This is the word over your life. God speaks a word to you concerning your life. That's the Rhema word. But he gives you the word from the scriptures to watch over the word. So please understand that the word that he speaks is to guard the word that you must fulfill. This is not something that you have to this is not something that you need to wonder or question. God, it just needs your obedience. This is why when he says, cast your cares upon me, you cast your cares. Because if you carry that burden, it'll be the thing that will so easily beset you from being able to accomplish this. So you got to understand that when God speaks an I will over your life, he's committed to it. And everything is set up for it to happen. Everything is set up for it to happen. I will do a new thing. How many of you know that when God says I'm doing a new thing, it's not really new? Come on, Sonia. I didn't say the Bible was wrong. I said it's not new. Let me explain. When God does a new thing, when he communicates to us, he has to communicate to us based on our understanding. God doesn't speak English. He speaks spirit. And so when we understand the things of God, we comprehend based on our earthly understanding. But when he downloads the word of the Lord in our spirit, we get it the way we get it. God is a spirit, and everything is done and completed in the realm of the spirit. So it's eternally done already. So what is God saying when he says, I'm doing a new thing? What he's really saying is that this is something that's already been done, but the time has come. saying is that this is an already prepared thing that's been waiting on you. What he's really saying is that this is an already prepared thing that's been waiting on you to be prepared for it. Are you prepared for the things of God? This is not new. God didn't just now think that he needed to make a way out of no way. It was already made. God did not just now say, I'm going to heal your wife of heart failure. He already recorded it in the medical books of heaven. God is doing a new thing because it's new to you. I like that. You just catching up to what God has already designed before the foundations of the world. So when God says, I will do a new thing, what he's really saying is that it's been prepared for you. And all I've been doing is waiting. I've been waiting. But I hear the Lord saying now, time's up. Time's up. Time is up, Emmanuel Temple Church. God is no longer waiting. He's no longer asking for your permission. He's no longer waiting for your attitude adjustment. He's no longer waiting for you to stop questioning and stop with your suspicions. He's saying that now it shall spring forth. He didn't say, can you do X, Y, and Z in order for it to spring forth? He didn't say, wait. Can you bring such and such to the table so that it can spring forth? He said, now it shall spring forth. I need to ask you a question. Come on. When is now? When is now? When is now? Now it's springing forth. What about right now? When is now? It's springing forth right now. When is now? When is now? It's springing forth right now. It's springing forth right now. And God is saying it's best for you to just jump in the river. It's best for you to just get into the flow of God. It's best for you to just, because this current is moving. This current is moving. And it's best for you to just get in the river, because that's where the safety is. That's where the safety is. Let's me move on. Oh my God. God says, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? God is saying this is where we're turning the corner. The question is, do you know that he's doing a new thing? And God said there's 3 levels of knowing. Number 1, he said awareness. He said you have to be aware that I'm doing a new thing. Are you aware that the Spirit of the Lord has recalibrated some things in this house? Are you aware that you are a steward of the new thing that God has released? Are you aware that you are a steward of the new thing that God has released? Are you aware that you have been enlisted into completing and building the new thing that God has released in the earth? Okay. Do you know it? See, the thing is that now it shall spring forth came before do you know? Yeah, come on. I got you. Come on, Sonia. The fact that it's springing forth is an understanding that it's already happening. Yes. Whether or not you know it or not. Now it shall spring forth. Then it says, shall ye not know it? So today, God is saying, do you know? Because whether you know it or not, it's happening. And it's happening when? Now. It's happening now. He says, first you got to be aware. The posture of your mind can make or break a situation. It can be the deciding factor between success or failure. It can be the deciding factor between whether or not you apprehend the promises of God or you miss the mark. The Bible says that it is with the mind that we serve the Lord. And so God is calling for unity. And if your head is not in the game, you will break what God, the cadence, you will break the cadence of the move of the Lord in the house. See, you are a part of the whole. So if your mind is off, we are off. If you're distracted, so are we. You're not in this by yourself. Isn't it wonderful to hear that? But when you understand that you're not in this by yourself, it means responsibility. It means responsibility. It means I am your keeper and you are mine. God is saying that He's showing me that we've been allowing the state of our minds to hinder us from moving fully into the things of God. I'm talking about Emmanuel Temple Church. He says some of us have consumed our minds with thoughts of fear and doubt. Some of us have been speculating. Some of us have sat back with just plain old suspicion, wondering what's really going on in the house. We've been filling our minds with what ifs and maybes. We're looking back 3 years ago, wondering why doesn't it line up with that, or why isn't it here, or why isn't it there? But God is saying in Ephesians 6, He says, put on the whole armor of God. And one of the pieces of armor is the helmet of salvation. What is the helmet for? It's to protect your mind. From what? For what? Well, if you read further, it says to withstand and stand. That's two different things. Withstand means there are some things that is against me that's going to come my way. God wants you to wear the helmet of salvation so that you can withstand the fear, withstand the doubt, withstand the suspicions, withstand the speculations, and then what? Stand on the promises of God, and then stand on the I will that He spoke over this house. Stand on what God has promised you and do not let it go. The second level of knowing is that you have to see. You have to be aware, and then you have to see. But God said this is not physical sight. This is the kind of sight that produces understanding and vision. This is the kind of sight where you will dream dreams and see visions. This is the kind of sight where you will be able to be connected and engaged in what God is doing in the house. Some translations say, shall ye not perceive it? What is perception? Perception is how you see the world around you based on a predisposed mindset. In other words, you have something going on in your mind already, and that's how you see what's going on around you. But some of us have a twisted, predisposed mindset. Some of us have allowed, yes, Lord, some of us have not withstood the thoughts, because the Bible says put on the whole helmet of salvation so that you can withstand. But you didn't guard your mind with the helmet of salvation. And so your thoughts are bombarded with what's really going on. Your thoughts are bombarded with, Lord, how are we really going to do this? And is that plan really something that's possible? But God is saying tonight that you cannot allow the predisposed way that you think to cause you to see something that's not really there. Some of us are seeing things that's not really there. Some of us are seeing things that's not really there. And God is saying tonight to be renewed in the spirit of your mind, so that you can purely comprehend the new thing that God has before you, and the new thing that He has released in this house for you at this time. The last level of knowing is believe. The old people used to say, I know that I know that I know. And I really didn't want to. Why they always had to have 3 no's? No and no and no, just taking up breath and air just for nothing. If you said it once, I'm good. But no, God said no. There are different levels of knowing. Some of y'all know you got your closest friends, and then you got those you hang out now and then. Then you got those that if you see them, you don't mind stop having a conversation. And then you got those that you just say hi and bye and that's it. There's different levels of knowing. And so God is saying this is the level of knowing where you accept and embrace what he is doing. This is the level of knowing where you surrender to it. He says at this level, you take personal ownership. Yeah. It is not just the pastor. That's right. It is not just the leadership. But God's saying tonight, you take personal ownership. If you really know that God is doing a new thing, then you'll pull up your britches and say, what can I do to get into the flow? If you really know that God is doing a new thing, you will try to figure out how can I expand? How can I help build? What can I offer? What can I render? If you know that God is doing a new thing, God is saying tonight that I will do a new thing. I'm committed, and now it shall spring forth. It's already happening. Do you really know? Are you aware? Have you embraced it? And have you taken personal ownership of the new thing that I am calling you to do?